Hello guys, how's it going? My name is Dalaran, and if you're somebody who's getting burnt out of WoW or trying not to get burnt out of WoW, this video is going to give you some of my advice on what I do in order to not get burnt out. I PvP and PvE as much as possible in World of Warcraft. I put out 2 videos a day and spend a lot of time playing WoW, whether it be live streams or whether it be working for videos and content. And in my free time, I also play a lot of World of Warcraft, but I am at the stage right now where I'm just desperately waiting for the next MMO or next expansion to be announced by Blizzard. And the faster, the better. I can't wait till BlizzCon, and I can't wait to get my hands onto the beta, because Legion is at a point where I'm just seeing too much green. So how do I keep playing the game, and how do I not get tired of it to make 2 videos a day and keep streaming? And these are my tips and what I do and what you guys can do in order to make sure you don't get burnt out. The first advice is, just because you can play the game doesn't mean you always should. For example, I can farm Mythic Plus all day long for that sweet extra few item levels, because gear can Titan Forge over and over and over to the highest nth degree. But doing every single daily to keep my AP up and ahead of concordance and making sure my character is literally at its best can really just ruin the game for you, because it becomes a grind, a real grind. You know how you grind to pay bills and chores and whatnot? Yeah, the game basically turns into that. So you want to keep the game a game, you want to keep the game fun, you want to keep it exciting, you want to keep it entertaining. So one of the best things you can do is to try to prevent it from becoming a chore as humanly best as possible. And once it becomes a chore, it loses fun, and for a lot of people it's really hard to get it back. So just because you can farm AP, just because you can farm the concordance on every single character, doesn't mean you should. Maybe you should tone it down a little bit and only play when you really want to have fun, not because your guild needed to climb a few more concordance levels by next week. So just play it when it's fun, don't play it because of the chores and the dailies. Just let it go for a second. Maybe that might make a big difference for you. Advice number 2. Play only with your friends, if you have any. I know you can get on by yourself and do a bunch of pugs and get a bunch of Mythic Plus done and get you all AP done, but why not do it with your friends? I'm somebody who plays too much World of Warcraft to hold a stable friendship, but even I ended up making a few friends, so chances are, hopefully, you have a few people that do play World of Warcraft, whether it's somebody in your guild, whether it's somebody you might find in a Discord group, as there's many Discord groups for Mythic Plus, and even just class-based things, and you can make a lot of friends just playing the game. And when you play with other friends, then the grind really does lose a lot of its heftiness, I guess, is the best way to put it. For example, I am terrible at first-person shooters, and if I spend an hour playing a first-person shooter, I can get tired of it very quickly, and if it's like a brand new game that I'm almost forcing myself to play, I will never want to play it again. But when my friends ask me if I want to play the same game, when I'm playing with them and it's a lot more fun this way, we're having a banter in Discord and we're hanging out, I can play that game for hours, even if I'm terrible at it, which I usually don't play games that I'm just purely bad at. But if it's a game that I'm bad at, but I'm playing it with my friends, it's a lot more fun, a lot more enjoyable, and a lot more relaxing of an experience. So if you try to implement the same thing for World of Warcraft, then you won't really feel the grind, you won't feel the hours just flying by you, you won't feel yourself getting tired of doing same old, because you're doing it together with other people as well. People that also want to do the same thing you want to do. And overall, it can alleviate a lot of the feel the grind might even create. And the very last advice is just stop playing WoW altogether. I know a lot of people will tell you, you should probably try to play an alt. Oh, how about a different role? Maybe you've never played a healer before. That will feel a lot fresh. Or what about doing a whole different questline? Let's say you only level as a horde, try leveling as an alliance. But let's be honest. Just because you're doing different things on a different character doesn't mean the game is going to be different. In most cases, it can actually just kill the game. I mean, you can get away from the grind of, oh, I'm a melee, I'm a rogue, all I'm doing is rogue stuff, but just because you're playing a hunter and now you're pelting the enemies with arrows at a distance, doesn't mean you're doing that much different. You're still questing, you're still doing dungeons, you're still doing the item level farming, you're still farming for that AP. It doesn't actually change too much of what you're doing within the game. So sometimes it's just good to get away from it all. But let's say you're bad at other games, right? Let's say you want to play PUBG or some other chill games instead, which is probably the best advice. Just play something new, something that's popular, something that everybody's playing, and then come back to WoW once the expansion or new expansion announcements hit. I'm somebody who's bad at other games, but I'm pretty good at MMOs. The tap targeting system is something that's very familiar to me. There are some options. For example, if you want to play an MMO like WoW, but not quite like WoW, so you don't get the feeling of burnt out, but still have the familiarity, here's some ideas. Star Wars. It's not that great of a game in terms of, I guess, the PvE content. Actually, I don't really know the endgame PvE content. It could be good, but I'll play that game strictly for the story. I didn't care about the max DPS or the best gear. I just wanted my character to look like a bounty hunter and be the bad guy while I'm the good guys. And I love the story because it's written by the dudes from BioWare. Final Fantasy XIV is another game. I actually didn't enjoy that game before. I used to hate it, but now I like it. It's very similar to World of Warcraft in PvE and class design, and I find that interesting. But it does have that long cooldown where it doesn't feel like World of Warcraft, so the design choice and the class decisions that you're making and, I guess, rotation is all going to be very different from WoW, but very, very familiar at the same time. Or what about Guild Wars 2? It tries to blend in the action combat and tap targeting together while giving you an insane amount of customizability for your class. You want to be a necromancer with a two-handed sword? Go for it. You want to be a rogue with two pistols running around the enemy just pelting from a distance instead of your whole dagger combo? You're more than welcome to. I love the options it gives you. Rift. What about Rift? I know nobody really plays Rift and it's kind of like a meme, but I like the housing in that game. I remember questing, getting gear, selling that gear just so I can buy some parts from the auction house, just so I can get a few more pieces for my house, and I literally played that game for a short moment just for the housing system alone. Same thing with WildStar, it had a housing component. I didn't really play it for the quest and the story to get to the max level. I literally played it just so I can get enough gold and silver and platinum and whatever other credits, just so I can get some more pieces for my housing for decorations. So there's a lot of games that you can play that are like WoW, and you can play them for many different reasons. They'll feel very similar, and there's a lot of games to play while waiting for World of Warcraft, the next expansion to come out. So there are a lot of options, so you really shouldn't pigeonhole yourself. Anyway, this has been my video on the things that I do not to get burnt out of World of Warcraft. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know what your thoughts in the comment below. If you like the video, give it a like. Those always help me out. Subscribe to the channel if you want to see more videos from me, and I'll see you guys all in the next one.